Hi everyone, Michelle here, personal trainer and lifestyle coach. We are here to talk about joint distraction. So this is a maneuver that you can use to help loosen up some of your joints. It's a really great way to open up your range of motion and help with your flexibility. So how will you set it up? My suggestion is about a 1-inch thick band if you can get it. If not, you can use almost any band. What you're going to do is take the band and find maybe a pole or something to wrap it around. And we're going to loop it around the pole and leave one end all the way open so that you can use this for your joint distraction. So first we're going to start with our shoulder. So we can take a look at your original mobility, try to move your elbow back behind your shoulder, and then what we're going to do is wrap the band around. We're going to grab onto the band, put it on like a backpack, and then you're going to walk forward as much as you can until you feel pressure into that shoulder. I typically go contralateral, so opposite leg forward. That'll give you a little extra stability. And then try to close your body away from the band a little bit to help keep it on your shoulder. Otherwise, it'll probably pop off. So we're closing away from the band, then you're going to take your open shoulder and release it as much as possible so we can feel a stretch in that pec. You can also do a couple of things in this movement to help facilitate the stretch even more. For example, putting your hand behind or leaving it open and going up and down, letting that band stretch out that shoulder. The next joint that we're going to open up is going to be your hip. So for your hip, we're going to want to lower it down to about hip height if you are kneeling. You're going to put one leg inside the band. Now we're going to go two different directions with the hip. The first is going to be right in front. Your opposite leg is going to be up, just like when we did the joint distraction with your shoulder. And then you're going to press forward as much as you can until you feel, again, a push into that hip flexor. Now, one of the most important parts in this position is that we're actually tucking your hips underneath and pressing forward into that hip rather than just pushing forward. So we're rolling that hip underneath, pressing forward and holding there, typically about 30 seconds to a minute on each side. Then the second position we're going to go in is an open hip. This is going to help stretch your inner thigh or your adductors. And we're going to step forward, other knee down, press the knee out. You can even facilitate by using your hands and pushing again those hips underneath to get that hip nice and open. You can even do joint distraction for your smaller joints, for example, your ankles and your wrists. So for your ankles, you're going to wrap it around the front of the ankle. Walk forward as much as you can, putting your other leg in front and bending that back knee until you feel a big stretch in the front of that ankle. If you want to intensify this stretch, then you can actually use something like a dumbbell or a kettlebell to go underneath your foot. You will have to back up just a teeny bit, put your toe on the kettlebell, and then you're going to stretch a little bit further, and this gives you a nice big calf stretch at the same time. The last joint that I'm going to show you is for your wrist. So for this one, we're going to take the band, flex your hand, and you're going to put the band on the back side of your hand. You're going to use your other fingertips to help push those fingertips backwards. And then you're going to stretch back as much as you can until you feel a stretch into the back of that wrist. We can also go the opposite direction. I don't know if you've ever stretched your wrist this direction or not, but it's really uncomfortable for a lot of people because they haven't done it very much. So then we're going to put our hand downward instead, pushing on the fingertips below and pulling back till you feel a stretch in that wrist. So in summary, joint distraction is an awesome way to both open your range of motion and increase your mobility in directions and degrees that you might not be able to do on your own.